I think language learning, it's important, like you're saying, throughout our conversation today, we've kind of been talking about the ups and downs of language learning. And it's important for people to remember that, you start learning and it feels like you've made such huge progress, and there has to be some downward movement. You're going to forget some things. You're going to make some mistakes with the things you already learned. And that's part of the process. That's how people learn it, right? And so that can feel like a plateau. It can feel like there's no improvement. And powering through the plateaus it decides whether you learn it or not, because a lot of people give up at that point. Um, and especially at the beginning of the language, I feel like this happens a lot because I like to compare it to like just math and say, like, to go from 0 to 1, you increased by 1. Now 1 to 2, you increased by 1. But now when you're trying to increase again, you're going 2 to 4, 4 to 8. Well, that's a bigger increment. And you're trying to catch the same feeling of the 1-step increment, but you're chasing the 2, 4, 8-step increment and looking for the 1-step increment feeling. And so those plateaus, like you said before, staying motivated to get through them, staying motivated through mistakes. How do you suggest that people get over plateaus or get through that difficult period?
One thing that I think works really well is to mix it up a little bit, mix up your language learning routine, take yourself out of your comfort zone, because a lot of times when we've hit that plateau, it could be, oftentimes is, that we've just kind of been a little too much in our routine. We're just kind of doing the same thing over and over. Maybe we're having the same kinds of conversations. Maybe we're talking to the same people about the same topics. So we're not really expanding our vocabulary. So I think switch it up a little bit and challenge yourself, put yourself in new situations. Maybe you could find like a one-on-one tutor, which there are a lot of cost-effective solutions out there, by the way, for one-to-one classes. But find a tutor maybe, and tell them that you want to talk about a topic that maybe you're not very familiar with. So that'll force you to kind of learn some new vocabulary, learn some new expressions, kind of broaden your horizons a little bit. Sometimes also plateaus can happen because maybe, if we're honest with ourselves, we're really not putting in as much effort as we used to. Maybe we're not spending as much time as we'd like to think we are. So I actually set calendar appointments for myself to kind of force myself to be a little more disciplined. 30 minutes every day, or even 10 minutes every day, 5 minutes every day. I think
Daily exposure, that's important.
daily exposure. Yeah. So I think those two things work pretty well for me.